1972, I was Deputy President of Ifac at the time, and we just joined the Common Market in a referendum in June 1972. And as a result of that, we became part of the European Union. And one of the first things we heard about was the Common Agricultural Policy. And we had the Commissioner at the time who introduced the idea of keeping a grant for keeping farm accounts. That it was the inspiration really that got the thing going, that we would try and get farm accounts and set up an organisation to do it. Prior to that, we had all been doing it with our local advisors and putting them into manual farm accounts books. So, if you like, they were the kind of sparks that they are there. And we set up a committee then, and we had people from FBD, from Irish Co-op Organisation Society, and from IFA. And then, I suppose, the most significant thing, as far as I'm concerned, that I was involved in, was inviting Peadar Murphy to become Chief Executive.
Yeah, well, I'd say the standout moment, to be quite honest with you, was surviving the break with AFT. In other words, that we had to put everything in place ourselves at that stage. They were an organisation that were keeping farm accounts for years, for research purposes as well as everything else. So they had the structure, and that's what we started with.
Ifac might not have started at all. It was crossroads, just touch and go there. And money was tight in when the contract was actually broken. And Peadar, you were opening offices all over the place, and there was cost built into the system and so on. And how was it actually all going to be paid for?
I found that the people that worked for Ifac had great integrity. There was integrity in the system. It was foolproof.
The accountancy companies were scoffing at farmers. It gave a level of dignity to everybody as well, you know, and the fact that it evolved professionally and by standing the ground. And I keep on repeating to Sean that introduced the word integrity. It's a basis of the whole organisation really, and commitment. None of us ever had any ambitions, to be perfectly honest about it. I had no ambition of setting up a co-op or anything when we started, but it evolved in the discussions. So largely it grew out of need.
In my young days, just starting out, to learn from people who had such integrity and such commitment and such innovation in their minds, dreams of the future, which were all achieved.
It was a tough road, but I mean, you lads have taken it into what I would call taking it from being a bit of a bookkeeping service into a national accountancy practice, you know, and it's holding its own with any of the biggest accountancy practices in the country at the moment.
We had good people employed at Ifac actually down the years, but we didn't have the systems actually for them to actually to do it. The work was laborious. It was labour intensive, but the laptops and the connectivity then right through to the back office, to the branch offices, changed all that. And Ifac was up and running. And as far as I was concerned, when I came in as CEO, it was important for me to continue that.
I suppose Ifac grew into the large firm that it is today in conjunction with the growth and development of farm businesses and the agri-SME sector across the country, because it had to grow to meet the needs of its clients.
50 years is a huge achievement for any business. Only 2% of businesses live for 50 years or more. We're a huge contributor to local economies all around the country, and we're creating loads of great employment. We're embracing technology and change. We're doing acquisitions. We're growing organically. The quality of the service is massive, and the culture and values in the organisation is just, you know, it's a standout really. And I think what we can achieve together over the next number of decades is going to be very, very significant and build very well on all the success we've had in the first 50 years.
Our team has grown like from 3 members of staff and myself to now we have roughly 14 or 15, including interns and that coming and going. So like it's a big operation now going on, and you know, no one person can do it all. And I think Ifac, that's where we're very good, that expectation isn't there, that one person should be able to do it all. And I suppose over the years, looking back, that's probably the biggest thing that has changed for me. That, a manager managed everything. That's no longer the case. Now, it is okay to say, no, I don't know that answer. And, you go to the specialist within the group that gives it to us.
Throughout Ifac, you can see those long-lasting relationships that have been built. We have the resources there. We have our national tax department. We have our financial planning team, our farm support team, our payroll team. The list goes on. I think at a local level, we very much feel like we can just pick up the phone, and if there's something we can't do for a client, we know that there's someone else there at the end of the phone that can help.
The role of the bookkeeper has evolved. It's a very positive role. So it's a very personal, unique, and it's a great service for the farmer to know that all his dockets remain on the farm.
It's a very different relationship, a bookkeeper on site with a client versus a client in an office environment. When a bookkeeper is on site, they're sitting at the kitchen table. So a huge advantage for offices from the bookkeeper point of view is if there's something happening, a bookkeeper then will ring up the office and say, watch out here, or, keep this in mind, or, whatever it is. So it's that relationship, I think, between all the teams, it works really, really, really well.
I suppose my meeting them often, I don't know, like it might be talking about the accounts and the tax side of things. There's other issues going on. You're lending an ear to somebody because, I suppose it's not part of the job description. You're not qualified as a counsellor or anything like that. But certainly, every couple of times a year you will get tough stories and situations going on totally outside of the business that, you do your best to climb through.
I took over from Willie in 2015, June 2015. Ifac in very good shape at that stage. In terms of making a pitch to be chief executive, there was probably 3 strands involved. One was growth, general growth. We're in a very good place. We have a great platform to grow. Let's grow from here and see what we can take it up to. Food and agribusiness was another strand, because we'd such a depth in agriculture that the natural fit was to move into that food and agribusiness space, because a lot of those businesses come from inside the farm gate anyway. And the third one was to become a training farm and really support and drive our own people on to fulfill their potential.
It's brilliant, like what's on offer to our graduates now, like the training, the support. It really nurtures them on their journey. So it's a great development within the organisation. Over my 15 years, like I've always had someone that I could go to. Like everyone has an open door policy here in the office. And if there was something I was struggling with, a knock on the door, are you free? And your question would be answered. So there's definitely that sense of there's no question too big or too small. There's someone there to answer it and help whenever it's needed.
I think obviously there's all the business stuff where we've grown certain businesses over a period of time and become a very large firm, top 10 firm in that sense. But the standout moments for me over the last decade have always been around adding additional benefits for people. So brought in a company called AHR, which actually provide an employee support program for people who might be going through any level of difficulty in their own life. And we were able to do that because the organisation is big enough now and strong enough to do it. Again, built on that platform for growth that was there, but big reinvestments in our people, and really big modernisation factors. 2017, 2018, we went through a big rebrand process, and that was kind of a lot about maybe understanding who we were and are as an organisation, and then making sure that we were able to kind of communicate that to the public and to potential clients and current clients as well about the broader range of services.
If I'm looking forward 10, 50, another 50 years, there's going to be massive changes in our sector. I see IT as being just, a transformer for the years ahead. It's helping every facet of business, and both from our client's point of view and from our office point of view. But I think really what it sets a company like Ifac up for is to be able to work with our clients on the core parts of their business, what we might term the value-added pieces of our business, the advice part. You know, Ifac has a vision to be the best agri accounting and taxation advisor, you know, in the world. And, you know, big ambitions, but you have to start locally, develop nationally, and take it from there.
I think like the biggest thing for me is when you get off the phone to a client and you know you have made an impact, or you're sitting in front of them in that meeting and you know you have done everything you can to help the client, support the client on their journey. That's what really gives the job satisfaction to me. It's building those long-lasting relationships and knowing that you have done your best to help the client. And again, like, that's across the board in Ifac. That is the theme.